Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our second lesson on systems today. We've already learned that when we are going to solve a system, we're going to try and find out where the two lines cross, okay? Um, we're going to go through the Bellwork today, and then if you need extra help on the assignment, I will post a second video for that. So for Bellwork today, which you should turn in when you are done, along with the homework, staple it together. This is how we're going to start. So if you have a system and you have both equations that are in y equals, you want to start by finding the slope and the y-intercept for each and then put them on the graph. Okay, so we're going to start with the top graph or top equation here, and we're going to identify our slope and our y-intercept. So I'm going to do that down here. So my slope for this, my m, is going to be 1 over 4. And my y-intercept is my b is going to be 3, okay? So remember that my slope is really a rise and a run. And when I want to put these on a graph, where I want to start always is where my y-intercept is. So I'm going to start here. And so which 3 do I start at? Do I start at the one on the right, or do I start at the one above the 0 to 3? So remember that this is really your x axis and this is your y. So where I really want to start is at this 3 on the y-intercept, okay? That's why this is called a y-intercept, is because it's where it crosses the y. All right, now from that spot right there that I just made, I want to rise 1 and run 4. So from that first dot, I'm going to go up 1 and I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to make a second dot. And then what I want to do is I want to take a ruler or straight edge or side of your folder, something that's straight, and I want to draw a line through those two dots from the end of the graph to the other end of the graph. Okay, so first one is done. Now you want to do the second one. So the second one, we do the exact same thing. So we're going to take that, we'll do the work down here. We're going to start by finding our slope. So our m, or our slope, in this case is 2. And my b, or my y-intercept, is -4. Because it says -4, we know at this point that a minus and a negative are interchangeable. All right, so now where do I start? Again, I want to start with my y-intercept. So I'm going to start this graph at -4 on the y line. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to make a dot. Now, if I go back here to my slope, I only have one number. So that's my rise. My rise is 2, but what is my run? My run, if there's not one available, I want to make that over 1. So my run is going to be 1. If I don't do that, I'm going to end up with a straight vertical line, which I don't want in this case. So I'm going to rise 2 from this blue dot, 1, 2, and I'm going to run 1, and I'm going to make a second dot. And here's where using a straight edge is really important, because if you don't, your final answer is going to be a little bit off. So you want to line up. One way to do that is to put your pencil or your pen or whatever you're using on one dot, and then move your ruler so that it lines up with the other, and then go ahead and draw your straight line through there. Ooh, and mine's, of course, off because, of course, it is, and when I'm doing a video. All right. Okay, so you can see, ignore that first line here, that where these two graphs cross is right here, up in the upper right-hand corner. And so the answer to the system, where do they cross? Our final answer is the ordered pair where they cross. Now, remember that your ordered pair has to be your x value first, so this way first, and then your y value. So my answer is right 4, so this is a 4 right here. That's my x value. And up 4, that's my y value. This is my answer. They cross at 4, 4. Doing the battleship method, the way I get that is I see where those two cross, and it's 4, 4. Okay, let's do another one. So this is the easiest one when solving systems using a graph. okay? They get more complicated as we go because not all of them are in y equals. So the second one that we have on here is clearly not in y equals format. You can't do this without having them in y equals. So we have to remember what to do to get them in y equals. Okay, so let's start with this top one. So our top one says 2x plus 1y equal 1. Well, what we're not going to move is the y. So this y is going to stay there, and it's the only thing that's allowed to be on the left side of the equal sign. So that means I need to get the 1 out of there and the 2x. And remember, it's like taking off layers if you have gone outside, right? So the first thing you're going to take off is like your coat, and then you might take off your hoodie, right? So you want to take off what's on the outside first. So we're going to start by taking out the 2x, okay? So the opposite of 2x would be to subtract 2x here, and I want to subtract it over here. Okay, and then I also have to get this 1 out of there. And so since it's right next to y, it really means 1 times y. So the opposite of timesing would be to divide by 1. And then I have to divide each of these by 1 over here. And now this is super important. You want to rewrite the equation. So the only thing left on this side is y. 1 divided by 1 is 1. And negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2. And you want to put your x back on that. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's also do the second one while we're right here doing this, okay? So again, we don't want to move our y. We're going to leave that guy alone. 3 is already on the other side of the equal sign. So I need to get out this negative 1 and this 2x. So the furthest away is the 2x. So I'm going to do the opposite of 2x first. So I'm going to subtract 2x here, cancel it out, and subtract it on this side. Okay, then I still have to get this minus 1 or negative 1 out of there. So that's right next to the y, so I'm going to undo that by dividing by negative 1, and I have to divide each of these by negative 1. Okay, again, you want to rewrite it. So it says y equals, well, 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3, and negative 2 divided by negative 1, a negative divided by a negative, gives me a positive 2x. Okay, so that's how we start this. And now we got to put them on the graph. And of course, I don't have a ton of space over here, so I'm going to do my work over here. I'll color code it so you can see. So I'm going to start with the blue, the first one. So my slope, my m for that, the one next to the x, is negative 2. And I know I need a rise and a run, so right away, I'm going to put it over 1. My y-intercept is the one without the x. So my b value is 1. Okay, so remember, where do we start? Do we start at slope or do we start at y-intercept? If you're not sure, you want to look at your work from up here. And both times we're starting with our b value. So of course, we're going to start with our b value. Remember, this is x, this is y. So I'm going to start at positive 1. That's where I'm going to start. Then I'm going to rise negative 2 and run 1 from there. So to rise negative, I'm going to go down 2 and right 1. Okay, so I've got that on there. I'm going to take a straight edge and I'm going to line this up. So put your pencil on one dot and then put your ruler on and line up the other dot so it looks good. All right, and then do it. And you've got a nice straight line and you're confident that you're going to get the right answer. Okay, now let's do the purple equation. So the purple equation is here. So our slope, in this case, the number next to the x is now positive 2. I know I need a rise and a run, so right away I'm going to put it over 1. So my rise is 2, my run is 1. And then my y-intercept, my b value, in this case, is negative 3. Okay, where do I start? Do I start at slope or y-intercept? Oh, look above. I start at my b value. So I'm going to start at negative 3. So down 1, 2, 3, and it's labeled right here. And now it says rise 2 and run 1. So from that purple dot, I'm going to go up 2 and right 1. Ooh, and I hit the other graph, which is good because I want to know where they cross. So put your pencil on one of the dots, line up your straight edge, and then draw your line. And where do they cross? Where is our final answer? You can see it. They cross right here. All right, but the question is, what is that ordered pair? Okay, so the x value, remember this is like this. So to get there, I have to go right one and down one. Okay, and this is opposite of slope. Slope is up and down first, then left and right. This is left and right first, then up and down for our final answer. Okay. All right, let's flip one more for our lesson today. And then you can be on your own if you would like to, but I will post another video if you need it. Okay, so the last one today is kind of weird in that you can see we've got a y equal 2, and that's it on here. Okay, so what we want to make sure, excuse me a second, that we do is show you how to do it if there's just a number there. All right, so we're going to start the same way that we've been starting all of these and check to see if they're in y equals. And they both are, which is great. Don't forget, on this top one, there is a negative x here, and there's a hiding 1 inside of there. Okay, so let's start with finding our slope and our y-intercept. So which one is the slope? Is it -1 or 4? Slope is the one next to the x, so we know that's -1. I know I need a rise and a run, so I'm going to put that over 1. Okay, so my rise is -1, my run is 1. My y-intercept then is 4. Again, where do I start? Slope or y-intercept? I start with my y-intercept. So I'm going to go up to 4 and put a dot on 4. And then I'm going to rise -1 and run 1. So that means I'm going to go down 1 and right 1 from that 4, and I'm going to make my second dot. Now line up your straight edge, right? And so put your pencil on one of those dots, line it up like this, okay, so that it's perfectly through. And then we're going to draw the line. Now, here's the weird one, the tricky one. So y equal 2. If you have y equal 2, what that means is that, and there's nothing else on there, what that means is you're going to use the y line, okay? So the y-intercept equals 2, and you're going to draw a line through it. So my y line is this one, right? So I'm going to find 2 on the y line. I'm going to do a dot there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line through that dot. Now, do I draw it vertically or horizontally? And what I do is I draw it horizontally, because what this really means is that if I were to make an old school XY table, all the y values are 2 no matter what. That means if x is 0, y is 2. If x is 1, y is 2. If x is 2, y is 2, right? If x is 3, y is 2. So for the y lines, we're going to make a horizontal line through there. And that's supposed to be the easiest one. So if it says y equal 2, this is going to be horizontal. And it's something we should just memorize eventually, okay? If that is a y and then just a number. And so what is our answer here? It crosses right here. Our final answer is 2, right 2, and up 2. And that's our answer. Okay. So that's our lesson in our Bellwork today. I will be giving you points for all of this work. So hopefully you have that down. If you need extra assistance on the homework assignment, see the next video.